All right, guys, we're back. So I'm just gonna walk with the camera for a minute. There's the still life we'll be drawing from the other video. And we have our easel set up. I've got a light up above. You can see, if you have extra light, it's good to have it. You want to have your objects fairly well lit. Mine are not very well lit right here, so I'm going to adjust the light a little bit. And there we go, that's a little better. And now I'm going to set up here to start the video. Start the drawing part. And we'll just move you a little closer. I'm doing this on my iPhone, so I apologize if it's not 100% great professional quality. So, to start the drawing, you want to start with if you take your fingers or your hand and you move to the top of your page and you put your hand like that, you want to be about 3 or 4 fingers down from the top of your page. That gives you enough what I call headroom on the top of the drawing. But you don't want to get too far down here. You want to stay in here. So if you want to make yourself little lines to show yourself where to start and stop, it's not a bad idea. Just wondering how much you're going to see here. There we go. So, to start the drawing, you want to look at your still life. You want to kind of find the center, like what's in the center. And the belly of the elephant is kind of in this area right here. So what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to draw this using basic shapes, real rough. Nice, simple, basic shapes. Not sure if you can see that. So what I've done, I've started with a circle, actually a couple circles, thinking about the belly of the elephant, the head of the elephant, the trunk. I've incorporated simply here, just the basic shape. I know the mouth coming off here. Just keeping things simple. Tail coming off here. And there's the back leg of the elephant. And you can see that pouch of the belly up under here. And the front leg coming down. Down about there, and that back leg comes down and in and out, and it's thicker at the top and it ends there, and that front one comes down and across, and that's the 2 closest legs. Now when I look through, I can see another leg. And it's on an angle. And if I take my pencil, I can measure that angle between the 2 legs. And that will tell me where I need to stop that leg. And the same thing happens with the 4th leg. I can take an angle off this foot and it shows me where that leg is sticking out. Don't be afraid to make marks on your drawing. It's almost crucial that you do make marks on your drawing. And there we have the basic shapes that make up the elephant. Now, yes, there are details like the shape of the head. And we're gonna want to get into like really going after the shape of that trunk. And we'll add that mouth in. And this is a time when you can go in and erase a little bit. You don't want to erase too much. You notice I didn't erase anything as I was drawing it. I knew I needed to make a correction, so I made the correction, then I changed it. I want to look at that ear. That ear is coming off back here, down, and somewhat like that. And there we have just our basic shape of our elephant. Now we also have the book. And that book's coming straight at me. Something like that. And then it's coming across. Something like that. And you'll notice I drew right through my elephant. Don't let that bother you. That's called drawing through, and you want to do that. And then we'll do that. And that's the front of the book. Now, what I did was I took my pencil and I compared that angle. It's got to change a little bit. And then I'll compare it to the other angle where the book is. And that gives me the sides of the book. This part is vertical. In fact, this might be coming in just a bit. So we'll make that correction right now. There we go. And we'll come across. And we're just doing this very quickly, very loosely. We're not worrying too much. Then we have another book coming out at a different angle. So I'm going to come out there, coming out here. I can't see much of the back of the book, but I know it's coming out here at the same angle as the front. So you have to be ready to, whatever you do to one side, you basically do to the other. And then we'll compare using our pencil. And we're starting to line up our book. When we put these lines in, they need to be vertical, 90 degrees. So remember that this is 90 degrees, and that will help you. This gives you a guide so you know where your vertical is. And then this part of the book's coming back. There's another 90 degree back here. And for the sake of argument, we'll just make everything parallel. You notice I'm just sketching. I'm not worrying about making it perfect lines, ruled lines. Ruled lines don't matter. We don't use rulers. And I'm drawing this a little low on the page because I need to get the whole drawing in for you guys. And if I back it up too much, you won't be able to see. So I'm drawing a little lower than I normally would on the page. Now, I need to put in the jar as I see it. And I'm just going to mark it. No, it's higher than that. Right about there is where, in my view, is where I'm seeing it. So you can see again, I drew it initially, didn't like it, added where I thought it should go, and that's where I'll leave it. And I want to just quickly place that. So we'll just quickly draw the lid. Now, a circle, when you're looking at a circle the way I am, It's called an ellipse. And an ellipse is just a circle in perspective. And what I'm going to ask you to do is just eyeball it the best you can. I'm just going to clean up a little bit of this. There's a whole other drawing system we could get into about doing ellipses, but we won't get into that right now. So you draw it the best you can, the way you see it. Basically, you don't want it to look just like a circle. You don't want it to look like a ball. You want it to look more, I guess, saucer-like would be the terminology. But it's like if you take this is a circle. And if you slowly turn it, you can see how it changes. The shape actually changes. This isn't a perfect circle, but it gives you an idea. So if you have a plate or a bowl that you can pick up, hold it in front of you so it's a circle, and slowly turn it away, and it becomes an oval. And not egg-shaped oval. Both sides are going to be the same. So you don't want to make an egg. So now we have two verticals, because that jar is sitting flat and the lid comes down. The sides of the lids are vertical. And then you have the bottom of the lid. And I'll just clean this up. One thing you want to remember with an ellipse, there's no corners. So here, 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 and here, there should be no points. It should go down in a nice clean little bit of a curve. And that jar is coming down and out. I've got kind of a top view. And then it's coming not on a 90 degrees. It tapers at the bottom, so it comes down and into towards the bottom. There we go. And I'm just going to erase that 90 degrees that I wrote there because it's a little distracting. I wrote it a little dark too, and it's not going to erase that easily. There we go. So, if you look at my line here, it's on an angle. It's not 90 degrees, it's on an angle. If I hold that up to my jar and compare it, I can tell which angle I need. Now this angle here, I think I've overdone it a little bit, but that's okay. I can adjust that later. And then I need an ellipse for the bottom. And I'm just sketching it. I can clean it up later. There we go. And again, there's no points. This is coming around and up into the jar. Now, don't worry about drawing perfect lines. This is for beginners, and I'm drawing like a beginner in a lot of ways. I'm just drawing. And I'm cleaning up as I go. I don't normally even do that. Now, I can tell right now that I need to make some adjustments in my ellipse. That's a little bit better. And we have our 4 of our 5 objects. I'm going to quickly place in the robot. I'm going to come off the elephant butt, and his head's right about here. I'm going to start with a simple shape, and then another simple shape, Comes down into the body of the robot. And you notice again, I'm just drawing right over. I notice that his body stops about here and cuts back here. So he's kind of like a square with rounded corners. And then he's got legs coming down that are kind of rounded. And then his big feet. Maybe that's a little big, eh? There we go. And then he's got, I'm just going to change that angle a little bit. That's better. And again, you notice I'm not really erasing too much as I go. There's his arm, and it bends, comes off, and his hand is just round. Again, I'm drawing through everything and just erasing the little bits that I need to erase as I go. And I'm only seeing a little bit of the other arm over here. And then there's the key to wind them up is sticking out over here. So clean that up. And there's the basic shape. Of our astronaut. And we can start to see some of the details. Clean that up a little bit. And in the front is his mask. So there's our basic still life, done with very basic shapes and just very quickly. Yes, it's rough, but the next one we'll go into start cleaning it up.